Good morning, pregame crew. How are we doing? Welcome to Wednesday morning, June 9th, pregame show. I'm Chart Gal Lori. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the pregame gang. I hope y'all had a wonderful night's rest. I hope you had a great trading day yesterday. And may we be so fortunate today to have another good trading day. Hey, Bobby, Jorge, Cindy, Roger, Hasib, Widow Puppy, Lou, Jorge, Veronica. Oh, I already said hi to you, Jorge, twice maybe. Philip, hi, Philip. Hey, Dragon Man, P-Court. P-Court, I added Zoom to my list so I wouldn't forget it. Oh, John, that's awesome. And you know I love your last name. That's my son's name. That is great to hear. I mean, I don't know if you could tell from the levels that I post and the research that I do, I really try to bring as much value as possible. And it just warms my heart when it works. And it won't always work. So if you had a great day yesterday, your challenge for today is to keep those profits. Your challenge for today is not to make more profits. Your challenge every day as a trader is to keep what you have. Building that over time, it takes time for consistent profits. And the biggest challenge today, and I am going to preach until it's no one in this room that it happens to, but it does happen where you had a great day yesterday and you size up today. You actually should be doing the opposite. If you had a great day yesterday, you had a week maker on Clover yesterday, you should be sizing down or not trading at all. It has to be a super high conviction for you to get in, and I suggest you size down. And again, it's kind of like that skiing analogy that I like to give y'all. When you go skiing, you like to point, when you're going down the mountain, you like to pull back and kind of lean back. And that's the opposite of your natural tendency says lean back, don't fall forward. But in skiing, you need to lean toward the mountain. So the same thing in trading. Man, I'm a rock star. I rocked yesterday, so I'm going to do a little more today. And that's just not how it works. I don't have time to find that right now. Someone's asking me a question. Sorry. So with trading, when you have a successful day, fight that urge to size up. Fight that urge to overtrade. Do that today. It will be one step closer to you being a consistently profitable trader and all the way to financial freedom. So, gosh, I sound like a, what do you call that? That Tim Robbins? I sound like a Tim Robbins. Financial freedom. Seriously, though, be careful today. It's actually more dangerous than having a bad day and trying to revenge trade the next day. Sizing up and a euphoric trading day can be worse. So, Chart Gal Lori, part of the Chart Guys community, we have a pregame show we bring you every morning. When I am unavailable, Jason covers, and I will be traveling a little bit the next couple days, so Jason will be covering. Here is my chart setup, my simple moving averages, my exponential moving averages. The yellow bars are my inside bars, then my RSI. The multi-time frame is just a pretty red when it's overbought, green when it's oversold. TTM squeeze is what I use to figure out when there's price pressure building. In the chat room, you have Dragon Man. He's our moderator. Jason won't be in the room today, so Dragon Man will help answer any questions you may have as his time allows. So I'm going to delete this. If you need it, take a screenshot. The format that we do every morning, Fab 4 futures, where I look at the overall markets and the 4 leaders. Then I look at the commodities, cryptos, and movers and shakers. And as time allows, I answer questions that I, by the way, visual and audio check, I didn't even ask. I'm assuming you can hear me. But I answer questions as time allows. TCG members have their questions answered 3 times a day on live stream over in the Chart Guys community, where we teach technical analysis. We are very dialed into Reddit names, crypto names, marijuana names, and we have channels for all of that. And we go over trade setups. We teach a man to fish. We don't necessarily give you the fish. Okay. Thanks, Bobo. I appreciate that. Oh, hey, Johannes. Yeah, we can't have you having more losses. That's not okay. Audio great. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Well, let's get started. So I'm starting out on the 30-minute. For you regulars, you know I normally start out on the 15-minute, but on the 15-minute and 30-minute, we have this TTM squeeze building. You can see that. What does that mean? That just means we have price in a pressure cooker. The longer it goes sideways, the more volatility is building up. And when it breaks, or if it breaks to the upside, it could have nice follow through. And same thing if it were to break to the downside. Before I forget, tomorrow we have CPI data coming out. So on days like today, when we have very large ranges, look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ has a really big range from yesterday's high to the low. We could stay within that range today and just chop sideways as investors sit on the sidelines waiting to see what happens tomorrow with CPI data. Highly probable. We see it all the time. And it could also go to the moon and make an all-time high today. This is a significant squeeze. I don't normally see this on all the majors at once. RTY is probably looking the most cooked as far as ready to ride. AEMA is holding on this ride up on the 30-minute. Just a tremendous store of energy that's looking to explode or implode to the downside. So RTY, that's IWM, that's small caps. IWM is rebalancing June 15th. We went over, that's why it made our list. Clove, that's why it made our list yesterday, because it's one of those rebalancing names that the IWM has to add to its index and have finalized, I believe, by June 27th. So we see that happen once a year in June, and it's positively impacting RTY. As these Reddit names run, the majority of them are small caps within IWM. You know, is it a chicken and an egg? Does IWM cause them to run, or do they cause IWM to run? Well, they cause IWM to run, but the overall basket, the better it does, it's good. Good for the goose, good for the gander. So which one's the strongest this morning? I would say RTY, then NASDAQ, then ES, and then YM. YM isn't that sexy. This is the Dow. There's 100 names in there. It is not the sexy names. It's not the names that you typically are going to get 100% gain on trading commons. Options maybe, but not commons. So we see IWM running. Now, I have not said this before on this show, but it's something I just want us to have in the back of our mind. We can't trade on it. Just got to have in the back of our mind. When the junk names really start running, all the junk names, and I'm not saying Clover Health is a junk name. I actually respect Chamath, the guy who created this. Clover Health is one of the #1 investors, yada, yada. We have to be careful when the really, really junky names run. That can be the end of a bull cycle. I'm not saying we're going into the end of a bull cycle. I'm just saying let's be prepared for all scenarios. I am prepared to short or go long every day. Every single day. I'm going to trade what the market gives me, and I'm going to use market internals in order to get the best clues as to what direction the market is taking. And the internals are me looking under the hood. I'm actually a daughter of a mechanic, and I've looked under a hood a couple times, many times. So when we're looking under the hood, it tells us what's really going on. Your Maserati may be flying and going 130 miles an hour, but under the hood, if it's running hot, short oil, it's not going to stay running fast. And that's the same thing with the markets. And that's why I monitor the internals, my dashboard. All right, that's enough for the analogies to lead. So let's go over ES. We've got that squeeze on the 30-minute. On the 15-minute, volume, of course, is low. It's overnight, so the opening volume will tell us what a lot of people have in mind for the day. A natural short would be 423.675 and 423.825, the all-time high. If we were to go up there and volume start waning, then it may be a short. NASDAQ, same thing. This QQQ short or NASDAQ short, if you're a futures trader, that is one of my King of the Mountain trades today. Dan went over it over in the Chart Guys community, that if we were to spike up, let's look at it on QQQ, up to that 33929 could be a top fish setup. And you see why. You see this big pullback, which some of you asked me about yesterday, very wise, saying, Lori, you know, is QQQ, usually when it gaps up, it pulls back. Well, that's exactly what it did. So we could spike up and then sell off again. So excuse my crude language. It just helps me remember it. We can have gap and goes where we gap up and then we just run, and then we have gap and craps. This is a gap and crap. Gap up, pull back. Gap and go or gap and crap. So I'm so sorry about my language. I am an educated woman, but sometimes I just don't sound like it. But the gap and craps happen more often than the gap and go. The difference that I can tell when a gap and go, when something gaps up and it keeps running up, is volume. So Stitch Fix could not sustain that volume yesterday, so it was a gap and crap. So, God, that's just terrible. I'm going to have to come up with something else. Okay, so with NASDAQ, 1391725 is your key resistance. Yesterday's high, the low, 1374175. And we were noticing in pre-market, I actually asked some of you to post it in TCG. I don't think we did. But was that megaphone look from that bear break from the internet websites being down, that fear, and then we popped up. So it's kind of looking like a megaphone. Well, that would just totally fit the bill if we were to even break 1391725 by a few dollars and pull back again. That would even fit that thesis. So with NASDAQ, key support 1380875. Gap and trap. I know, but it just doesn't, Roxy Poo, I know that's what people say, gap and trap, but it just doesn't have the same feeling, the gap and crap, you know? And y'all love me, right? Y'all love me if I use my Louisiana slang. Y'all don't care, I hope. So on the hourly, look at this 8 EMA algo trade, trend trade, holding. Candle closes above. When or if RTY were to pull back, it could keep going for infinity. But if it pulls back, it could be a good short. But we need all these. I wouldn't try to short IWM until after rebalancing, but it may provide a good opportunity. But right now, it's one of our most bullish sectors, and it just looks beautiful. All right, gold. I don't think I charted gold this morning. I didn't. So with gold, let me give you your levels. We've got some sideways action. We have that big reaction yesterday on the website troubles, and now we could be range bound for another day in gold. That's your key levels. On the daily, we just have an EQ forming. We have a daily inside bar from yesterday, but we have an EQ where we get that higher low. Well, actually, that wasn't even a higher low, lower high. We could just tighten into this area. That was actually a lower low, lower high, higher low. So oil, beautiful. Today is Wednesday, so we have inventory today at 10:30 Eastern. If you're trading oil, you need to be aware of that. And we have a 4-hour, was that 4 hour? Yeah, 4-hour potential bull flag, 4-hour inside bar. Man, this is so bullish. We've got a squeeze, and let's see if the bulls are tired. They may use the inventory as just an opportunity to take a breather and pull back and just rest on the EMA. When you look at the EMAs, for all of you sports fans, when you see the EMA, this is a bench for our athletes. The athletes are the bulls. And the same thing for bears when it's inverse. And so the athletes have to come back to the EMA, grab a water, grab a towel, and then keep going. Same thing for the bear side. When the EMAs are overhead, the bears are pushing down, and they have to come back to the EMA, get a water, grab a towel, and then jump back in. So same thing top side and bottom side for EMAs. EMAs offer reprieve for these hard-running animals. Bitcoin is much stronger than the alts this morning. If you are in the crypto channel, you can go into TCG, you can go over to Crypto General. Dan explains Bitcoin dominance chart. BTC.D is getting a nice bounce, which means the alts aren't running as strong. Of course, there are individual names within the alts that are very strong, but for the most part with Bitcoin dominance, that favors Bitcoin over all the altered altcoins. So right now, we have an hourly higher high, higher low coming into resistance of 3573864. And all you eager beaver bears, your next level 3679016. But I would say that Bitcoin is setting up for a short opportunity in the short term. We do have this rounded bottom on the hourly where every push down, what does a rounded bottom mean? Every push down for the bears, the bulls are buying it. Push down, bulls buy it until they can turn the ship around, and then they turn it around. Then you have this nice rounded bottom. Same thing is true for the inverse. Ethereum not as strong. Let's flip back and forth. Bitcoin, you see how that's stronger than Ethereum. So Ethereum not as strong. 258182 and then 274092 is your next resistance support. 247017, 240633. I've been trading crypto for over 4 years. May was my 4-year anniversary, May 1st or on or around there. I started trading when Dan I followed him. So I've been trading crypto off and on for 4 years, more on the last year. And I'm sorry, I'm getting messages. Okay, sorry about that. So with crypto, all of these dumps are usually associated with FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. And so you can always equate a news story to what happened. But I promise you it's not that important. Sometimes it is, like Tesla, Elon buying Bitcoin. That was a nice bull opportunity that a lot of us got in the room. Sometimes it's fun to know what it is, but FUD has been plaguing this thing since its inception and always will. And a lot of bulls see it as a buying opportunity. So don't get too twisted on what the news is. Clove, how about that? That was fun, huh? So in the room, I posted it here. Let's look at it. Okay, so here is why I had high conviction on Clove yesterday. It was a 9 out of 10. So the only thing missing in all of the different setup was that it didn't have news related to the stock. Well, this morning it released news. Of course it did. Today, it should have done it yesterday. It would have made it a 10 out of 10. Proximity to all-time high. So we were here yesterday. We were in this area in pre-market. So proximity to all-time high can sometimes act as a magnet. Short interest squeeze, potential high short interest. The option chain ended at $22. We talked about it. So if it were to push over 22, it would have potential gamma squeeze. IWM rebalance. It was a top 10. Oh, I have a typo there, but y'all know what I mean. Top 10 name ad, larger umbrella. IWM was very strong yesterday. Repetitive squeezes on shorter term time frames. I mean, a lot of us were trading this squeeze yesterday. Had a fun trade here with a TTM squeeze going sideways and a pop. Phil, this is the TTM squeeze, think or swim default is what I use in TradingView. So, okay, so what was the other thing? Go back to here. Repetitive squeeze is shorter term time frame, preceding day volume. So the day before we had 4 times normal volume and pre-market volume leader. The call volume was crazy. They were buying calls hand over fist. Only thing missing for an opening range drive setup was news. So today, how do we feel about Clover? Well, I have racked my brain to try to figure out a better analogy, but I keep coming back to the same one that first popped in my head, and I'm going to stay with it. So here are all the levels. If you want to screenshot, I got 2 different fibs drawn, and I liked yesterday that confluence. We talked about 2433 yesterday, and look where it popped. So 2 different fibs, high, low, swing high, swing low. We're still in that same area. So here's the next one, 2876, and then 3547. Okay, I'm gonna have to delete all that. So let's see what I'm talking about. So yesterday morning we were here. This is having that nice bounce with 4 times the normal volume. We had the squeeze, it pops, and yesterday morning we're talking about it. Why was I so gung-ho here? It didn't have its full glow up. It's kind of like having a model, a girl who's 16, looks like a giraffe and has braces, and I'm not being derogatory toward a beautiful woman, but I'm just saying, if you're in high school and you're wanting to date this woman and you're a 5 out of 10, you need to lock her down before she realizes how pretty she is and she has her full glow up, as the people say, the glow up. So Clove has had its glow up, full glow up yesterday. So today it wakes up and it's a 10 out of 10 beauty. Well, if you're a 5 out of 10, do you want to try to lock this down? I mean, you're chasing someone that's out of your league, and that Clove is out of our league at this point. If you're still in a long, which I was very adamant and very clear yesterday that I was holding a swing position if we close near the high of day, which we did. I sold a little bit this morning at 27.47, and I still have a position. Look at that 15-minute. Did it ever waver on those EMAs? Nope. Look at this declining bear volume, or volume altogether, on this sideways action. So it could be out of our league up here. We do have the potential for a little cup and handle forming on the 15-minute. Still a totally tradable instrument today, but we just have to be a little more careful. Okay. So I'm still interested in Clove today. I still have 6 calls left, and I still have a small commons position left. And right now in pre-market, I just posted it. Y'all are just gonna have to bear with me. I try to do a good job of monitoring chat and doing all this at once, but sometimes I'm just not as coordinated. Okay, so I posted this 30 minutes ago. Wish had 21 million, Clove had 20 million, and then CLNE Clean Energy. So Clove and Wish are still the top two. Well, Clove is still in the top two for high volume today, so this thing could keep going. But they've added option strikes up way higher, so a gamma squeeze could still be possible. It could still keep going, but I'm going to be more protective today because okay, another analogy, you know, dogs get ran over when they chase after cars. So I'm not going to chase it to add positions, but I will be watching for consolidation, tightening patterns. And Dan went over tightening patterns yesterday in the after hours show about how he waits for this opening range, and he waits for setups like EQs, or, you know, all the different myriad of setups that we can have. So with Clove, let's get some short-term levels. So that's some short-term levels. And then let me just draw the big fib again. I'm going too fast, huh? I just deleted that real quick. So yesterday we talked about 24.33 and it ended at 24.93. How fun was that? So 35.47 would be the next upper end target, and then 46.61. Doesn't mean it's going there. I just like to tell you all these levels. 24.33 would be your support to the downside, and 20.48. I still like Clove. I still have a position, and at this point I'm not going to close out my position unless we lose like 22.50, because I still have small enough position and large enough gains that I'm up more than 50% on my commons and hundreds of percent on my options, that I can be a little more, I don't want to say loosey-goosey, but I can give it more room to run. Etsy had an offering and now it's popping into 171.90. It was going to be a short of mine today. Your next resistance after 171.90 is 176.85. We have a little squeeze going on here and it's popping to the upside. Squeezes can go to the downside. So this was an actual short idea. So anywhere around 172, I would be looking to short this. And this is me shorting it based on news. Plus we are on the underside of a downtrending daily 21 EMA, and we're coming into the 200 MA at 172.53. So actually that would be another level you could possibly short, 172.50. We need price to come into it and get a little bobble before we get a potential short. Oh, that was total wrong drawing. We need price to come into it, get a bobble, and then go to the downside for a potential short. But you see, we're looking for a lower high relative to 176.85. But right now they're taking that huge offering to the positive side, so I can't fight bulls, but I will be watching it. My other short idea today is Netflix. So Netflix had this huge range yesterday, and here are the levels. 49420, actually this is a level 2. 49650 and 49882. So when we zoom out, there's no news that I know about, but we are under the weekly key EMAs and MA. On the daily, we are going into the underside of a 21 EMA on the daily. We had an outside bearish engulfing candle yesterday. You see that? We engulfed the prior day's range. So I like Netflix to the downside. On any pop, I would be looking for a short. You see, we're running into the 15-minute 200 MA. Sometimes that can be a good level as well. But we may need to go into yesterday's high. Then I would even use $500 as a stop if it were to V-shape right into it. Now, if QQQ and NASDAQ is rocking and gets over yesterday's high, then this short idea is a bust. I guess I need to say the magic words. Clove, still king of the mountain, bull for me, and it would just be an overall day trade, high watch, number one watch for volatility in trades. Etsy, it's going into 172, and I would say 172.50 for a potential short, but things are changing on me since I posted that, put this short idea in our list. Tiger, I like Tiger to the short side. Why? I'm looking for a daily lower high. I'm looking for a 4-hour lower high. So you see this, when we kind of V-shaped and it's just so flat. We have plenty of room for a higher low relative to 23.61, but I like Tiger to the short side, and I just cleaned off my levels. So here, 26.20, then 26.45, your support 25.37, 24.49. So I like that we're in the underside of an hourly 50 MA. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, loosey-goosey, total technical term. Yes, implied volatility works against me and for me. As long as I'm selling on these huge pops, so if I buy on a pullback and then I sell on a huge pop, I'm taking advantage of that implied volatility. And I also do call spreads. Yesterday I was kind of limited when we opened and we're popping into $22. Then I couldn't get a strike in think or swim higher than $22. So that call spread idea was kind of a problem, but I'm taking advantage of it. As long as I'm buying on a pull back and selling on a pop up, I'm taking advantage of the high implied volatility. QQQ, short idea, 33929. You see how this kind of looks like Tiger? So top fish setup, and you're waiting for price to bobble, come up, get a little 2-minute or 5-minute higher low, lower high, lower low, rollover for a potential short. Wish huge volume today. So here's the difference between Wish today and Clove yesterday. Wish had its glow up yesterday. It had 6 times the normal volume. So it already had this huge push. So does it have opportunity today? Absolutely. We're breaking some supports in pre-market here. So here are your levels on Wish. Wish pulls back into around 1350, which matches up with a 15-minute 50 MA. I'd be interested in going long. But again, I will be focusing on Clove long today and QQQ short. Those are my 2 king of the mountains. But Clove, it's really extended, and I just feel more comfortable because I already have so much wiggle room on my longs already. Zoom for P-Court. Here's your tightening range. If Zoom were to zoom into 350, it would actually be looking for a short. If it comes into 339, you could possibly go long, but on any bounce, we're still looking for a lower high relative to yesterday's low of 350.15. If we were be opening up in the middle of this range, I'd actually just be expecting an inside bar, and that's what could happen, or we could roll over to the downside. We are squeezing on the 15-minute, so let's see what the Zoom bulls have in them, but overall on any pop, I'd be looking for a short on 350.15. Odds favorite, doesn't mean it's going to happen. Apple, my favorite day to trade Apple is, everybody, Friday. I like Friday Apple lottos. So right now we have a tightening range. I can't do a lot with it in this range. The tighter it goes, though, I can do something with it. We have an hourly squeeze, 30-minute squeeze. So a pull back in a 126.40 area, 126.50 could be a long if QQQ is doing well today in bullish. Clean energy. So excuse all the levels, but in case you're interested in trading it, I'm not. It's one of the high volume names today. It had high volume pre-market names. It had 2.5 times the normal volume yesterday, but the difference is look at this pullback. So on any pop, I got to be looking for a lower high relative to 1635 just because of odds, not because it's going to happen. I just have to be looking at it. So it just makes it a difficult name for me to trade to the long side. So I will be watching volume, or if you're interested in it, I'd be watching volume. Same thing with Clover. I'm going to watch the first 2 or 3-minute 5-minute candles or 2-minute candles to see what type of volume is pouring in. I'm also going to be looking at market internals. RKT, that worked great yesterday, didn't it? That was a beautiful trade. So yesterday morning, we were watching these daily inside bars. I noted this would be a great, clean technical setup, no news around it, and we had a 7% pop. And now we're up 5% after hours, almost 6% in pre-market, and it's one of the top 10 short squeeze candidates. So RKT is probably one, I hate to say king of the mountain, because yesterday it was a beautiful setup and today is slightly extended. But on a pullback, it could possibly offer a long opportunity, and RKT looks great. Root. Posted about this one yesterday. High short interest, about 2.5 times the normal volume. This still has meat left on the bones potentially. Here are your levels. High, high, high risk. Don't mean to be annoying, but I have to be. SOFI, one of y'all messaged me about this. We have 4-hour inside bars. I like SOFI because it's Chamath, but it doesn't have high pre-market volume, which is one of the criteria yesterday with Clove, and it's not in those top 10 squeezes. So we have a weekly inside bar right now, and on the daily it popped up real nicely. We have 4-hour inside bar. So here are your levels on SOFI. I like this to the long side. I would say this is a King of the Mountain Junior. This is probably mid-level conviction trade to the long side. I like it. SPY, the high yesterday, we have 42294 and then 42338 aftermarket hours. If we aftermarket level 42321, 42338, if we pop up into that, that could be a top fish level. Watch these squeezes. Be ready to be wrong. And that's on any trade. Be ready to be wrong. Oh my God, I've been talking 28 minutes. Lord have mercy. If you could, give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Also, bring a friend. Always bring a friend. So if you're a TCGer, jump on in, over in the room. Dan will start in 2 minutes. I love you all. Use stop losses.